The weather and vibes are great on the Atlantic coast of South Carolina as 42 drivers strap in to take on the tricky track that is Myrtle Beach. However, for 6 drivers, this isn't just a stroll on the sand. This is the round that gets you into the Championship 4, and they will be hungry to go for a victory tonight. This is the NFRN Truck Series South Carolina 200 from Myrtle Beach Speedway. Hello again, everybody. I'm Colin Denton with RVN, and welcome to the 12th race of the NFRN Truck Series, and as mentioned, the opening race of the round of 6. This tour will be following the NFRN Elite Cup Series to the end of the schedule, with 4 races remaining, 3 in this round that will set the championship for. 2 of them will be short tracks, and we haven't had a paved short track this season. Oswego, race number 5, was a dirt track. That was the only short track we've been to this season. It was won by Jim Fowler, who was fortunate enough to qualify into the last spot into this round of 6. We take a look at the standings, exiting Ontario, where we unfortunately eliminated Steve Ray and Dalton Wise. Clint McComb was precariously close to the cut line as well, but put up a runner-up position to secure his spot alongside Jim Fowler, who had a nice top 20. Meanwhile, Mike Simpson, Adam Coon, Jasper Riles, and Tyler Reed coasted into the round of 6. Before we unleash the full-timers on the short track, we let the part-timers fight it out for the final 6 spots on the grid. Luke Evans and Louis Usher out front first, but Blake Andrews able to sweep underneath Usher as he goes up the racetrack. A little bit of contact here between Benjamin Roberts and Aiden Wilder. Puts Roberts up into the wall, and then he's going to have some more trouble as he goes outside 3 wide, and trouble there with Jordan Probst, and Jonathan Wong also collected Kyle Langland on the rebound. And Luke Evans had the lead until Blake Andrews was able to sweep underneath Evans, who washed up the racetrack, and the 11 truck was able to stay out front for the rest of the duel. Evans was able to keep second place, while Jeff Cavico, a 3-time starter in the series, got the final transfer spot. Heat race number 2, Isaac Nichols and Justin Zeidel starting up front. Khaled Campbell tries to go from the high to the low side, and Carson Mitchell did not appreciate that. Sends the 56 truck around right in front of the back of the field, and plenty of trucks get collected in this one. It would put the 04 of Ryan Reed a lap down, and that's going to cause some chaos. Aiden Beck gets in the Gallon Downey. They both end up wrecking, collecting Richard Morris in the process, and then the 04 starts near the front in a single file restart, and Carson Mitchell on the outside has trouble getting by. Derek Campbell in that 82 is able to pass by and get into the transfer spot, and the 63 will continue to slide backward. As you can see, it's just a lot of chaos there trying to get around the lapped truck of Reed, but Isaac Nichols stays up front for the entire rest of the duel, and Hamill grabs the last transfer spot. Andrew Gorman and Ryan Wenham will be up front for the next heat. Contact in 3 and 4 for Carter Thiessen, and Vincent Stromberg turns the 49 into the outside, and Gabe Finney in the 74 gets the most damage in that one. At 9th place, Tanya Breyer gets around Will Stukes, but Stukes is able to maintain the 10th position and will transfer, while Gorman grabs the win in this duel, followed by Wenham and Tyler Sage. That sets up the 30 drivers that are moving on to compete for the final 6 spots, and Isaac Nichols gets the good jump on the initial start, gets around Blake Andrews from the outside. A 3-wide situation here with Tyler Bate, Logan Williams, and Zach Winkle. They'll go into the outside wall, and that's going to end Bates' night. And then, as they're coming to the end of this one, Isaac Nichols washes up the track. Blake Andrews gets back up front. Andrew Gorman's also going to get by, but those 3 will all advance as they take the checkered flag, and they will race tonight here at Myrtle Beach. It'll be Andrews, Gorman, Nichols, along with Luke Evans, Justin Zeidel, and Ryan Wenham. Unfortunate break for Nathan Ormond and Fred Bow, who were looking for their first career starts in the series. They finished 7th and 8th, respectively. Also had Louis Usher and Tyler Sage up there in the top 10. They were looking to make their second career starts in the series. Now take a look at our hot seat driver for tonight's race. It's Robbie Bell, the winner at Ontario. Also got a runner-up at Toronto Lakeshore. 3 top 20s in a row. We'll have his onboard view right from the helmet. We've got a good contingent of fans here in the grandstands looking forward to a good race tonight here in the Truck Series as well as the Elite Cup Series. Very interested to see how this will all play out. Looked like the trucks really went single file in those part-timer races, but we did see some passes being made as trucks washed up the racetrack. Certainly seems like the low line is the place to be. Will we see any bump and runs as drivers contend for the victory? That's going to do it for our pre-race coverage. Let's send it down trackside for the famous words.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command to fire the engines, please welcome our Grand Marshal, Safe Light Auto Glass Operations Manager, Joey Callahan.
Drivers, start your engine!
Time for the drivers to get locked in for the task ahead. 50 laps to determine a winner here tonight at Myrtle Beach. Let's take you to our starting grid. Starting on pole is Jesse McConnell, 5 straight top 20 finishes, alongside Hunter Cox, who finished 15th at Oswego. In row 2, one of our part-timers, Justin Zidell, finished 9th at Ontario, 3rd made race out of the last 4. Alongside him, Ross Kispin, who averaged 10th at the 2-mile track races. Heck of a run for Ryan Wenham on the inside of row 3, qualified in his first 3 attempts for the series. On the outside is James Smith, finished 12th at Oswego. One of our mile track winners, Benny Seitzer, on the inside of row 4. And to the outside, our first playoff driver, Mike Simpson, who led the standings after the last round. Inside of row 5, Andy Quinn, sub-20 finishes in 3 of the last 4 races, and Isaac Nichols making his first run since Trenton. Row number 6, Barry Watson, top 12 in all of the races last round, and Recency, who has 2 straight top 10s. Trevor Nix starts off row 7, 1 top 20 in the last 8 races, and Justin Lisenby, 3 straight top 20s for him. Essential's looking for his first top 10 since Trenton. He's on the inside of row 8 alongside Josh McCoy, who lost his 4-race top 10 streak at Ontario. Row 9 has Kevin Knight, who finished 14th at Oswego, alongside our Ontario winner, Robbie Bell. Rounding out the top 20, Dylan Lexton, who has finished top 20 in every mile or less track this season, and Luke Evans, returning after 2 DNQs. Our Oswego winner, Jim Fowler, on the inside of row 11 alongside Derek Anderline, who got a top 15 at Ontario. Row 12, Daniel Voiles finished 3rd at Oswego alongside our playoff driver Jasper Rouse, who had 2 top 20s last round. Row 13 for P13 at Ontario, Billy Thompson alongside Blake Andrews, making his first race since the season opener. One of our departed playoff drivers, Dalton Wise, on the inside of row 14 alongside Moses Osborne, who had 2 top 10s last round. Another playoff driver, row 15, Adam Coon, had 5 straight top 20s prior to Ontario, and Roger Ray has finished outside the top 20 in the last 3 races. It was a top 5 day for Carter Friesen at Ontario. He starts on row 16 alongside Steve Ray, another driver who left the playoffs. Second straight made race for Andrew Gorman on the inside of row 17. He finished 3rd at Ontario, and Emerson Sims finished 4th at Derek's Motodrome, another one of those mile tracks. Keith Young, the only full-timer without a top 10 in the series, on the inside of row 18. On the outside is Aaron Dumati, who had a season-best 4th at Ontario. Row 19, Tyler Reed finished 6th at Derek's Motodrome. Taylor the Pig has best finish of 29th on the mile or less tracks. A couple of top 10 days at Oswego for our row 20 drivers, Ryan Parsons and Jason Langley. And starting shotgun on the field, one of our playoff drivers, Clint McComb, finished 4th at Oswego. And Aria Carmona, first top 10 finish coming at Ontario last race. And before we turn them loose, I want to remind you that the NFRNX channel has all 6 of the onboards for our remaining playoff drivers. Link down in the description. You can go check those out. Pace truck is off. 42 entries coming around turns 3 and 4. They're in the zone, and the green flag is out here at Myrtle Beach. Good jump for McConnell. Justin Zidell trying to go to the inside of Hunter Cox and take over the second spot. Way up the racetrack, hits the 76 in the door. And it looks like he's going to take that by force. And the 76 trying to pull off the crossover move. But the 13 still clear. Boy, exciting racing already. We're only on lap 3 of 50. Mike Simpson trapped on the outside line. Of course, not entirely sure whether or not the outside line has any raceability. Riding on board with him right now. Still seems like you want to be down low. You see the 23 of Ryan Wenham. Ooh, checking up a little bit. 09 has to take a base of action. Going to maintain his speed, though. And they're sliding up the racetrack. You see Kispin losing the spot to James Smith, and Ryan Wenham now side by side with the 53. Meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum, Clint McComb riding in the back. Started on the last row trying to keep pace, but doesn't want to get involved in the incident as we see Hunter Cox goes back to second place. Handily passes Zeidel. Slides right underneath. Looks like the 13 might have washed up the track a little bit. But the position changes hands. Oh, we got trouble on the backstretch. Robbie Bell going around. Derek Anderline also involved. And everyone goes driving away, but we did have a slide there by Bell. And might have been a little contact for Jim Fowler in the 72. Potentially also for the 01 of Jasper Rawls. Let's take a look at the replay and see what happened there. A little early for pit stops. Looks like we're going to bypass those this time around. Ooh, Bell does not give enough clearance for Josh McCoy on the outside line and gets turned straight into the wall. We see Dylan Lexton catches a piece of that. And then the 27 is going to collect the 72 there, and the 72 is going to rebound up into the outside wall, possibly. Yes, he will. Derek Anderline takes a shot there. Oh, what a big hit from Emerson Sims sends the 26 around. And wow, Tyler Reed on the bottom line, just able to escape that one. Same with the 8 there, McComb. So Anderline seemed to get off a little bit of the worst of that. So we take another look at it. Gonna look at Fowler here, and I'm curious if Rouse, yeah, we talked about the 01 get involved. Oh, there's Daniel Voiles. Slides in there, and you got like 4 or 5 cars there just kind of stacked up against the outside line, trying to avoid all of the sliding cars. On board, our hot seat driver, Robbie Bell. Boy, he was really racing hard with Kevin Knight on his inside there. Now on board Fowler. Caught a piece of Luke Evans in the 86 before Voiles came right up in front of him. You can see they're all racing back to start-finish line track position. Really important here. On board Rowles. I'm curious if Voiles might have caught the end of the pit lane wall. That's what might have sent him into that slide. And on board McComb, he's going to slide right through on the bottom side. Fortunate break there for the 8. Unfortunate break for the 55 of Emerson Sims. He is going to drop out of the race. Bad break for him. Came into this race 32nd in points. We go back to green on lap 12, and Jesse McConnell out front with Hunter Cox and Justin Zeidel in tow. McConnell already a winner this season. Got the victory at Toronto Lakeshore just after the playoffs started. Looking to see if he can grab victory number 2 as we ride on board Simpson. Open right back to the battle for second we go. Zeidel on the inside of Cox. Driver of the 13 making his 3rd start in the series. Finished 9th at Ontario. Also had a top 15 at Toronto Lakeshore. So his finishes have been very impressive, and he's going to take away second place. Back on Mike Simpson, though, as we had to cut away from him real quick. 5 straight top 20 finishes for him, and he's on track for a 6th if he can keep it in the position he's in. 2 top 10s in that span, both of them coming before the playoffs started. In the playoffs, just top 20 finishes, good enough to get him into the next round, and that's all you need in this format, consistency. And it looks like the 76 continuing to slide backward as now he's battling with Ryan Wenham for 4th place. The 24 got around him. And it is certainly looking like the bottom line is preferred here as the driver of the 76 having a decent season, 14th in points. Unfortunately not in playoff contention, hasn't gotten that victory, but still putting up something as we see the 13 of Zeidel looking to the inside of McConnell for the lead. And just mentioned that the low line seemed to be preferred, and the 62 not exactly keeping his truck down there on the bottom line, but now Zeidel slips back up into line, so not going to see a change for the lead here. Moving back to Adam Coon, next playoff driver in line, 22nd. Not a lot of playoff drivers doing too well right now, as Simpson the only one in the top 20, but Coon unfortunately got his worst finish since finishing last at Trenton in our last event at Ontario, finishing 26th. And trying to make that not become a trend. We'd like to get back up into that top 20 at least. Tyler Reed a little bit further back, 5 points above the cut line. Trying to see what he can do. He's been up and down since he got that victory at Zenjoltis. Clint McComb now on the cut line with Jasper Rawls right behind him. Second place finish for him at Ontario. First top 10 since our last short track at Oswego. In that span, 4 of his 5 finishes had been outside the top 30, the lone exception being at Texas World where he finished 14th. There's Rawls. We saw him get contact in that earlier accident. Oh, and we got a slider here. Isaac Nichols through the grass and up into recency. In turn 1, we have a caution. Oh, and truck sliding in there. Steve Ray catches a piece of him. Oh, and a little contact there with Anderline. That's going to bring out our second caution, but Nichols sliding through the grass hits the wall and up into the 69 truck. So that's going to bring out our caution, and that should bring these trucks to pit lane for the first and potentially only time tonight. They should be able to make it to the end on fuel here. McConnell leads them down. We take a look at our playoff drivers: Simpson, Adam Coon, Clint McComb. Coon and McComb have pits over in 3 and 4, and it's sounding like 4 tires across the board for everybody. Rubber is important, and if this is the only pit stop they make all night, then they're going to need it. So McConnell is going to take advantage of the 4 tires and still get off pit lane in front, as it looks like most of the field, and probably all the field, took 4 tires and had some drivers slide up. I believe Ryan Wenham had some trouble getting away from his pit stall, and that's where all those extra positions are coming from. And here we see Nichols getting some contact in the left rear corner from Barry Watson in 38. And he's going to slide, make a little contact with the inside wall through victory lane. And unfortunately, that grass just becomes an ice skating rink, and I imagine he's trying to jump on the brakes, but you can see he's even trying to hit the inside wall to scrub off speed. Unfortunately, he's going to slide right into the path of the 69, head on into the outside wall, right into the guardrail portion, which is where the crossover gate is. Surprisingly, it doesn't look too bent out of shape, but that'll bring out our second caution of the night. Take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more racing action here at Myrtle Beach.
Hot chicken wings here, fresh off the grill.
Hey, Denny, pass me one of those Cokes.
Pass. One of those? Yeah, like you let me pass last week? Instead ran me in the wall? No. How about not?
Made you flinch.
I made you flinch.
You both flinched.
Back here at Myrtle Beach for our first race of the round of 6. 69 truck of Recency leaves the race. The 29 of Nichols is still in, but you can see he is well off the pace as he takes off for the restart. Already back in line with the 5th place car and dropping even further as McConnell leads us past the halfway point. Looking back at our Oswego winner, Jim Fowler. Of course, that was a dirt short track, and now here on the paved short track, struggling a little bit to get some speed. Obviously was involved in that first accident. Dropped him back to 30th. And oh no, we got more problems with Ryan Wenham. And it's very tight here as he tries to get around the 29 of Isaac Nichols. And now Dylan Lexton being shown into the inside wall and right in front of Tyler Reed. Another caution here, but this time it's a playoff driver involved. Lexton going through the grass right into the path of Reed, just like the accident before, and potentially precipitated by one of those involved. Isaac Nichols really stacking up the field there. We saw Ryan Wenham trying to get by. Turned into a 3-wide situation and was almost looking like a 4-wide situation. We'll take a look at the replay as Bacana continues to lead here. And yeah, that was Dalton Wise that got into the back of the 60. But all of that really started a few yards back where Wenham was trying to get to the inside of Nichols. The 29 just not up to speed, and right in front of Tyler Reed, almost collected Adam Coon as well, who was just in front of the 12. And now we'll have to get that damage evaluated. A little contact there with Aaron Dumati on board the 12. Solid look there for Lexton, and now on board the 19. Very close shave there for another playoff contender, as one also takes a hit, but no one dropping out of the race after that one. So Reed and Lexton still able to compete as we go back to green. 15 laps to go in this one. We've had a couple of moments competing for the lead, but Bacana has otherwise had some pretty smooth sailing as Mike Simpson goes into a slide right in front of Essentia. Also collects Andrew Gorman. Dalton Wise slides through there, but another playoff contender goes around. Mike Simpson leading the standings after the round of 8, as we mentioned, off the heels of 3 top 20 finishes. And we got 2 cars smoking here, Andrew Gorman and Essentia, who both plowed into the 09. We'll have to see how that started, but definitely the 09 went for a slide off of turn 2, hit the inside wall, and was unable to collect himself, as we're under caution for the 4th time tonight. Here's a look at that, and Andy Quinn got into the rear quarter panel, but again, I wonder if Nichols just not being up to speed had a factor in how the 09 exited the corner, and the contact there just sends the 09 into a slide, and Essentia is going to be the first one to find him. Unfortunate for him, Carter Frieson's able to sneak right through. I imagine Ryan Wenham will as well, but Andrew Gorman in the 2 is not going to be as lucky. And then saw the 77 also go straight through. There might be a little contact there, but Adam Coon was very lucky. He got down to the inside of that one. Take another look at it. I just wonder if the 09 checked up for the 29. Not sure if he was going to walk up the track. Boy, heck of a lick. Entire left front taken off the 14 truck. And same for Andrew Gorman. Yeah, 77 got a pretty decent lick there, but otherwise was the least scathed out of those 3 that ran into it late on board the 09 from the back. And on board Adam Coon as we had a commercial break. Going to have about 10 laps to go in the opening race of the round of 6 for the NFRN Truck Series playoffs.
Mr. Goodwrench, who is this one and only GM expert?
You've seen Mr. Goodwrench around the track.
Sure. Well, how can he be there and at the GM dealership?
How do you mean?
How do you mean? Mr. Goodwrench actually knows GM cars better than you.
You better believe it.
Don't tell me what to believe, Harvick. I'm the one holding the clipboard here, okay?
Find Mr. Goodwrench at over 7,000 GM dealerships nationwide.
What are you doing?
Oh, hey, Happy. How's the sound system in this puppy?
Get out.
Okie doke.
Welcome back to Myrtle Beach. Under 10 laps to go to settle this one. Mike Simpson, our first playoff driver to exit the race. And as we expected, Gorman and Essentia also out. McConnell leads. Playoff drivers have been a non-factor for the win here. And Simpson was our best running driver. He's now out of it. So now at the moment, Adam Coon currently has the best running position. And you can see the traffic that he's got in front of him. Look at this, 3 wide. Dalton Wise shoves it underneath the 23, Isaac Nichols, still sliding back. How about Dalton Wise exited the playoffs after a poor round? Never got his feet under him. 5 straight finishes of 31st or worse. Not great when you're competing for a championship in the playoffs, but how about him coming up here and trying to take some positions away? Might be able to slide into the top 10. He's on the inside of 3 wide. Don't expect that out of short track. Meanwhile, here comes Jim Fowler trying to fight his way back after being involved in that first caution. He's now 9 points above the cut line as Tyler Reed struggling, and obviously Simpson out of the race. And there is the 12 of Reed. Mentioned he's been a bit on a roller coaster since grabbing that victory at Zenjoltis. Had finishes going in and out of the top 20. 31st at Ontario. Unfortunately, it looks like he's going to plateau at the bottom of that chart. Might leave here 9 points in the red. And we have a 6-truck breakaway as we hit 4 laps to go in this race. McConnell still in control, as Wise still fighting his way to the inside of Ryan Wenham. Might open the door for Adam Coon right behind him. But they are still side by side. This is a great battle here. Every position's going to matter. If the 19 can grab an extra point, he has an opportunity here. Might be hoping that the 77 goes a little bit too aggressive and wrecks, and then he can grab a few positions. Also seeing the 8 of McComb battle for a position on the inside of the 11 of Blake Andrews. He's 13 points ahead at the moment. If he can grab an extra point with 2 laps to go, could be crucial for these playoffs. And he's certainly making a fight for it as McConnell continues to have a few lengths on the rest of the field. He's coming around turn 4, and he's going to get the white flag right here. As mentioned, grabbed the victory at Toronto. Fell just short of a playoff spot. But he is certainly going to prove his worthiness in this series as he comes around turn 3 and 4. And it's going to be a second victory this season for Jesse McConnell here tonight at Myrtle Beach. And I just saw, I believe Clint McComb was able to edge out the 11 truck for that spot. So extra point for him as McConnell is going to go to victory lane here tonight. Now has 6 top 20s in a row, 4 of them being top 10s. Taking a look at the finishing results from this one, Jesse McConnell up top, Justin Zeidel grabbing a career best finish, and his stock continues to rise. A lot of career bests on this list. James Smith got 1. He had 5 straight finishes outside the top 20 entering this race, was at one point in contention for an open playoff spot that fell away during that stretch. Hunter Cox grabs career best finishing 4th. Kispin gets his 4th top 11 finish in the last 5 races. Quinn ties his career best. Knight gets his career best. And Lisenby grabs his 4th straight top 20. Finally find our first playoff driver on page 2, and he's all alone, Adam Coon in 13th. And we had a great battle there with Wise and Wenham. They'll end up just outside the top 10. And for Wenham making his 3rd start in his 3rd attempt, this is his career best finish. And just inside the top 15, Aria Carmona and Barry Watson, both of those drivers grabbing their 4th straight top 20 finish. Outside of the top 20 is where we'll find the bulk of the playoff drivers. 3 on this page. Clint McComb comes home 21st, Rouse in 24th, Fowler in 26th. But given that there's only 6 drivers in this round, they are still above the cut line. We'll also make note of Blake Andrews finishing 22nd there. First start since Columbia, where he finished 41st. And then we have the drivers with the unfortunate days back here. Tyler Reed caught up in that earlier incident. He'll end up in 35th position. Mike Simpson had that slide with contact from Andy Quinn, and he drops out of the race. Those 2 drivers are now hunting for those points. And we'll segue that into our current playoff standings. Adam Coon, 22 points ahead of Tyler Reed. Mike Simpson was the 1 seed effectively coming into this round. Now he is the furthest back, but still only 12 points back. Plenty of ground to make up, especially heading into another intermediate oval and another short oval. That last race will be at Carbondale. We'll also keep those 2 eliminated drivers on this page, and Dalton Wise having a good day will end up jumping ahead of Steve Ray, who is outside the top 30 in this one. And looking at the rest of the standings, Justin McConnell was already in 9th place, and he just extended that lead over that position on Josh McCoy. The top 10 runs from James Smith and Benny Seitzer helped them jump a few spots ahead. And Dylan Lexton and Roger Ray are probably the biggest losers among these drivers in the standings, as they both dropped 4 positions. Meanwhile, Justin Lisenby was able to jump 5 spots in the standings after grabbing that 9th place finish. And going beyond the full-timers, looking at the bottom of the chart, Justin Zeidel jumps into 2nd among the drivers earning part-time points in this series. Unfortunately for Zeidel, Evans did qualify for the race and finished top 20. And a quick look at the team standings, as we do have a change for the lead, as Hunter Cox and Eagle Motorsport are able to jump ahead of Western Motorsports, a 1-point gap with just 3 races remaining in this season. And we're going to bypass the drivers trying to attempt for Amateur Cup because the series is off tonight, and we will meet them up at Red River in North Dakota. That will be the site of our next round. Intermediate track with 2 very different turns. Going to be very interesting, and these truck drivers are going to take to it first. We're going to see if we get even more chaos in the playoff race, or if someone can capitalize on a good performance and go straight ahead to the Championship 4. Congrats to Justin McConnell on his 2nd win of the season here at Myrtle Beach. And remember, we've got NFRN Elite Cup Series playoff action coming up next. It's the start of the round of 8. For NFRN and RVN, my name is Colin Denton, and we hope to see you next time.